Good morning, everybody. I'm delighted to welcome the two-time major champion, Jon Rahm, to the interview room. Jon, it's obviously been a historic week for Spanish sport. How would it feel for you to continue that run by lifting the claret jug on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great month for Spanish sports. A lot of history being done, right? With Alcaraz being the sixth player to win the French Open and Wimbledon in the same year, getting to 4 Grand Slams at a very young age. Spain winning the record 4th European Championship, right? And Sergio and his team doing what they did on Sunday. Quite special. Coming back to a venue like this with so much history, it would be quite incredible to earn an Open Championship on this golf course in this tournament. It's arguably my favorite week in golf, and to maybe even continue this stretch of great Spanish sports would be absolutely fantastic, on top of all the many things that will make this week or this championship incredible.
Okay, we'll take questions from the floor, starting with number 3.
Hi, Jon. With that in mind, and talking about Spanish sport, I just wonder if you're fully aware that up in these parts this week, particularly, every Spaniard will be a hero, an adopted Scotsman, because of the football result. Are you aware of this?
I noticed that yesterday. Yeah, played all 18 holes yesterday, and I think I got more congratulations for something I didn't do than I ever have in my life. So yeah, I don't know why, I don't know what they've done, but anytime anybody plays against the English national team, it's like every other country in Europe just unifies against them. I don't know why or what they've done. I'm not aware of the history. I think it's because we've heard it's coming home so many times the last few years that just nobody wants to see it come home at this point.
Do you know all the words?
The words?
It's coming home. Do you know all the words?
No, I didn't know what it was till they made the championship last final. And then I didn't know it was a song till Tyrrell showed me last Wednesday. So I really didn't know the whole history about it. And he picked it as his song on the first day, and I told him nobody in Spain is going to know what that is. And there's going to be the 3 or 4 English people that are there are going to understand, but nobody else is going to know.
So will you be giving plenty of stick to your English peers this week, fellow English golfers? Will there be?
No, because the second I see one of them, or they acknowledge me, or any other Spanish golfer for that matter, they just, the first instant is they're all smiling, they're like, yeah. They know I'm either gonna say something, or that face is, the face they make says it all for me. So, it's, you get the occasional joke of, oh, should have been a handball against Germany, and a couple of those things, but no, I'm not gonna be one to make them feel that pain anymore.
Jon, can I just following up on that? Can I ask did you watch everything on Sunday? Did you have a break and watch the tennis and then the football, or to clear your mind, or?
Well, I couldn't watch the tennis because we were playing.
Yeah.
But the crowd did us the favor of telling us the score of what was going on. I remember we were playing the 17th hole, and I had to back out on my putt because somebody was reacting to the tennis on TV. There's quite a big crowd on that green, so after I walked by the grandstands, they were telling me, oh, Alcaraz won the first set, he's 3-1 on the second set, playing great. Right, so they were making me aware. But the only thing I was able to watch, obviously, besides Sergio's play, was the football. And the team was sharing a house that week, so me and Tyrrell watched it together. And well, you can imagine that was a sight to see.
Okay, next question. Just over on the left-hand side.
So, Jon, you seemed really happy for Sergio on Sunday. What was it like to see him win at Valderrama?
It's just the record he has on that golf course is absolutely mind-blowing. I think it was 17 starts, 14, 15 top 10s, and 4 wins. It's hard to do anywhere, but in Valderrama, that is especially difficult. It's just so demanding to the green. You have to play it really well, and obviously the familiarity with it helps, but it doesn't matter. No matter how much you know the golf course, you still need to be familiar. Still need to play at your best to be able to do that there. And then it's just how close he's come this year. He's played incredibly good golf. He had a great chance in Mayakoba, obviously losing to Joaco. Same thing in Miami, losing to Dean. So to see him win it in home soil, right? I feel like it was only right that Sunday one of us Spanish players won, and I think he's a very deserving champion. I was extremely happy for him because he's been a great referee of mine when it comes to golf. We created a great bond in Winsley Straits, and to share Friday and that Sunday with him and see him win it was very special. So yeah, I'm extremely happy for him. Right? It's I think you could see it in his face. Last time I remember seeing a reaction like that was when he won the Masters. So maybe not as big, but I think the relief was there as well. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we all felt it for him.
Okay, centre, Mark.
Hey, John. You were, prior to going over to LIV, you were on a really good run of form with a bunch of wins and whatnot. I'm just curious where you feel your game is now, in that period since then.
Yeah. Last year from Masters on, I didn't really play my best. Didn't feel at my best up until Ryder Cup. Ryder Cup was the only resemblance to maybe the earlier part of the year. And this year, the first half hasn't been my best, but I would say started in Houston, where I kind of started feeling that comfort with the swing again. And I'm talking about such a small margin, right? I mean, I think I still have been playing good golf all throughout that time, but too bad I couldn't play, obviously, in Houston and the U.S. Open. But Nashville and last week I felt more comfortable, getting closer to a higher level of golf where maybe there isn't as many thoughts on my process, right? Maybe I'm playing a little bit more freely and seeing the ball flight that I want to see more often. So yeah, I'm getting much closer to what it might have been early last year.
Okay, Bob.
John, if you moved your feet like Scotty Scheffler does when he swings, what would happen? And also, why do you think that works for him so well? Why is he so good doing it that way?
I might have not studied his swing enough to understand how it really works. But it seems to me that a lot of that movement happens after that club face has made contact with the ball, right? So whatever happens after, it doesn't matter, right? Once the ball's flying, it doesn't matter. But it seems to be what helps him keep that club face square. It's that simple. Is you do your own swing, whatever seems repetitive, right? And he clearly can repeat it very well and under pressure. Greg Norman, who's a great ball striker as well, had a very similar move with his rear foot. Maybe not as much as him, but it's similar. It's almost like a little bit of a resemblance of, when you go bowling, of that back foot going towards the side, right? It's almost like a way to keep your hands straight towards the target. I really don't know how to explain it any other way. But I feel like so much of my stability on my swing comes from that rear foot. I'm almost the opposite. For most of my career, that rear foot's been planted for so long that I don't think I would be a very efficient golfer if I did that. Yeah, I don't think I'll be a pro whatsoever. Could I hit it? Possibly, but it wouldn't be pretty.
Okay, next question from the far right.
John, over here. Just going back to the Sergio question, you mentioned his success at Valderrama. I'm just wondering, is there a golf course where you feel like you have sort of a similar, or have had a similar level of success?
If you had to say one, which one do you think I'm going to say? Because there's one clear one that I always talk about. Would I have won twice? There you go, yeah. If I had to say that, it's Torrey Pines. I don't know what it is, but every time I go there, I don't have as good a record as Sergio, but I feel comfortable, right? I get so many, especially when I see the paragliders, I get so many images of what I see at home where I grew up, where I didn't necessarily play golf right on the coast, but it's just, I get such a good feeling that I always feel like I have a chance to win there. And I think every time I've teed it up there, at some point I've held the lead or I've been on the final group on Sunday. I've had a chance to win multiple times besides the 2 times that I've done it. It's just, I feel like there isn't really any other golf course where I think I come close to that.
And then just totally unrelated follow-up, but I was just wondering what your response was to Keegan Bradley being named the captain of the U.S. team.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't thought about it very much. I think a lot of people had an initial thought of maybe unexpected, just because I heard so many rumors of Tiger being it, right? I don't know why. Everything I heard from that Ryder Cup is, okay, Tiger's the captain. And I mean, I guess you shouldn't always believe what you hear, but I think my mind was made up. And when I heard anybody but Tiger being it, I was like, oh. But he was definitely a bit of a Captain America figure when he was there, right? He very energetic, had a great partnership with Phil, played really good golf, especially at Medina. And yeah, I'm not surprised. I think he can be a good captain. Cares deeply about the country, cares deeply about the Ryder Cup. I don't know if having a Boston native be a captain in New York might be the best thing, but I think they can put the difference aside for that week. But yeah, I think he can be a fantastic captain.
Okay, Ewan in the back, right.
John, just on your own Ryder Cup situation as we stand now, have you paid fines to the tour? Will you continue to pay fines to the tour? And do you think it's right that that is the necessary system, it seems, for you to play?
I was still in conversations with the tour. I mean, I haven't been able to play any tour events. So yeah, we're gonna have to source it out before I want to tee it up, hopefully at the Spanish Open. But at this point, I'm so still waiting on what might happen with my wife and daughter that I don't know if I'll be able to play or not, right? So my fall is still a little bit of a question mark when it comes to playing golf.
But just to be clear, because they said you had to do two things. One, remain a member of the tour, which you have done.
Yeah.
And two, pay these fines that would be issued to you for not being released.
Yeah, well, I haven't paid yet, but again, I just don't know when I'm going to play. It could very well be a chance because it hasn't been the easiest pregnancy that I just simply don't have the chance to tee off. So my mind is not thinking on that right now.
Okay, Martin.
John, it seemed the only non-Spanish winner on Sunday was Bob McIntyre. What did you learn about Bob as a golfer and a person in Rome?
That I have a really hard time understanding what he says. Yeah, as much as I might seem like, I was born into the English language, whenever Bob speaks, to this day, I remember a few conversations where he said something and I just look at him and I think of myself at Arizona State when I was brand new, when I was like, what did you just say? And my mind just goes to yes or no. Just yes or no and try to skate by. So besides that, yeah, he's a fantastic player, right? Very resourceful. Even when he didn't have his best that week, there was at times still, hitting the shots that he needed. And especially that finish on Sunday, right? I mean, getting a little bit of the stroke of luck of finding the sprinkler on 16, hitting a 7-iron that close, making the putt, and then making birdie again on 18 to win it is absolutely special. Reminds me I think it was him on a chip shot on Sunday on 15 from short of the green. He hit a fantastic chip shot to a tricky pin location to keep that lead going into the last few holes, not knowing what Tommy might be doing in front of him, right? So, yeah, he definitely has the clutch factor when he needs to. Got it done in Canada as well. I mean, clearly, really good player.
Okay, microphone number one.
John, last time some of us saw you, you were telling us you were going to try to play at the U.S. Open. What happened in those few hours in between that led you to withdrawing, and how did you spend that week?
Oh, I wish I could post a video. So we went from there to trying to source a podiatrist. Is it? Yeah, it's a podiatrist, yeah. And once we found one, we went there, and obviously the x-rays on my foot, but we knew there was nothing wrong with the bones. And he saw the wound and he saw the infection, and he tried to clear it out, and it's calloused over, obviously, to protect, and we thought we had cleaned it out. And I don't want to get too graphic for people that don't like it, but he basically cut part of that callus out, and the second he put a little bit of pressure, which still hurt a lot, could see some wanting to come out. And he says, all right, John, we have to do this. Because there's an abscess in there, we have to see how deep. And I'm like, oh boy. So yeah, basically he numbed my foot and grabbed the swabs they did the PCR test with, basically, right? Stuck the cotton part a little bit in, so it was deeper, turned it around and just jammed it down my foot. And pretty much when I saw that go in, I said, okay, I'm not playing the Open. Took all the infection out, took another sample to see if I was taking the right antibiotics, and that's when we made a decision. He's a military guy, an ex-military guy. He had seen that before. Apparently it's quite common. Never heard of it, but it's quite common amongst athletes, military and things like that. And he told me that I probably shouldn't play. It was hard to make a decision then because he had numbed my foot, so I couldn't really feel anything. But based on the progression, he said, yeah, you probably shouldn't play. And that's when we made the decision. Right? Had it made it worse, had the infection spread anymore, could have started going up my leg, right, and creating a bigger issue. So we decided to take that week off, as hard as it might have been. And then the next morning, I knew I'd made the right decision because the pain I was in after that was pretty severe. But it was clean, right? And then as soon as I could, I went back home, watched the Open. I think I posted on social media how Thursday morning I had the baby monitor, the coffee, and ready to watch. And once I accepted the fact that I couldn't play, I think it was quite enjoyable, right? I think as much as any other, I kind of enjoy watching some of the best players in the world struggle. And weirdly, it was fun to just see. It was fun for people to see people play well, and it was a lot of fun to almost be a spectator again, a fan, and just enjoy it, right? I could at least give a little bit of a better commentary to my friends and family that were watching with me, because I could put into perspective certain shots that they might not be able to appreciate on TV. But I think the best part of all that, being bedridden as well, because I couldn't get my foot dirty, I had to maintain it clean and disinfected and all those things, was being able to spend some time with Kelly. Because while she's on bed rest, I had to somewhat be on bed rest as well. So to keep her company was probably my favorite part.
Okay, we've got time for a few more questions, starting with the microphone number 3.
Hi, John. Sorry to go back to the footballer game, but I'm just fascinated by yourself and Tyrrell watching the game together, because I remember at the Ryder Cup, he described himself as the sweariest man in golf during one of his press conferences. So I'm just wondering what the language was like from Tyrrell while you were sitting there watching that match and his behaviour.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was a lot of fun for both of us, but it was Tyrrell Hatton. I mean, it's exactly what you'd expect it to be. And honestly, he's no different to any other football fan, I would think, out there, right? Because I've seen enough football with both Spanish and English supporters, and everybody's language is extremely colorful, right? So I would say, yeah, he was right up the line of basically any other football fan that was watching that game. But it was fun. It was just interesting seeing somebody else, right, opposing sides complain about fouls and what's not a foul, and right, having the arguments whether, I mean, these most two hated players on the team just because how good they are Carvajal and Cucurella, and I don't blame them, right? And they're both good at fouling when they need to foul, and obviously he was just going off a bit on that, and then as well as whenever he had to criticize anything on the English team, right? That was just fun to be a part of. But no, it was good. I think he knew, especially early on with how good Spain was playing, that it was going to be a tough match for England. But his reaction when Palmer scored was an electric one. Let me just say that.
Okay, next question, number 2.
Hey, John. I'm just interested, realistically, after this week, it could be 9 months until you get to tee it up again alongside Rory and Scotty and Colin. How frustrating is that for you? And secondly, the men's majors feel like they come and go quite quickly these days. It's sort of 3 months between all 4. Would you like to see them spaced out a little bit more, or do you like the schedule as it is right now?
Wow, I have not thought about that. Yeah, wow, I haven't thought about that ever. Is there a discussion of changing the schedule that I'm not
No, I
aware
don't
of?
think so. I just feel like, particularly for you guys, I guess if you're in good form, it's great. You see someone like Bryson this year, you've got
Okay.
4 majors, and then but if you're having a poorer run in the majors, is it better to give you longer to prepare for the big events? And obviously, for you, it's a few months again till the Masters now.
I mean, in the past, it was really 3 majors in 4 months, right? With 3 of them coming in pretty quickly. It was just the Masters that was a bit of the one earlier in the year. So it really, I don't feel like it's that different, I guess. for me to think about maybe spacing it out, it all depends on when you play, what event, where. And I feel like I'll need to hear other opinions. I really haven't thought about it enough to give you an answer. Right? I think the governing bodies in charge of those major events kind of understand probably better than the rest of us. And we all understand probably that you can't really go against football, right? So without meaning American football. So if you have the playoffs in August, it's going to be hard to have a major in August, right? So I kind of understand why we have the system we have right now. Haven't really thought of, and with so many events, PGA and US Opens being on the Northeast, you can't really go earlier in the year because it might be unplayable, right? So I wouldn't know how to talk or think about that. Should the NFL make a change? Maybe we could make a change, but I don't see that happening because if anything, they keep adding games. So I think we're okay as in right now, but I'll be interested to hear what other people think.
But do you hope that between now and the Masters, you'll have an opportunity to play against people like Scotty and Rory again? Whereas obviously, now it looks like you might not be able to play. You might not be in the same field as those guys again until April next year, which is a bit crazy, really.
Yeah, it is. It is, but it's also a decision I've made. Hopefully, at some point, golf can figure itself out, and we have opportunities to play against each other more often. But like I said, I'm not gonna lie. Anything past September, October right now, since with the situation I have with my wife and daughter, I'm really not thinking about it, to be honest. I can't really put myself past it. So I can't give you an opinion in full judgment in that sense.
Okay, we're going to finish with Doug, then Juan.
John, when you look back at Augusta and Valhalla, what was most frustrating? What do you think you were lacking in your game? And from what you've seen of Troon, what do you need to be doing your best this week?
Well, I got to enjoy Troon yesterday on the easiest weather you're ever going to see in Scotland. I was only meant to play 9 holes, but I looked at Tyrrell and I said, it's sunny, there's no wind, it's perfect temperature. Let's just enjoy the walk. How often do you get to come to a major and just truly just enjoy the beauty of the golf course, right? Kind of put a little bit of a show for the few fans that are out there, take care of the kids. It was a very enjoyable second 9, in which I know we're not going to play the golf course like that ever again. So it's like any other links, right? Keep it on the fairway, avoid bunkers. And that's obviously going to set yourself up to put you in a position to where you can maybe attack some pins and make some birdies. But everything depends on the weather, right? If the wind comes like it can come, especially out here, it's almost a bit of it a survival. I think last Opens here score, 2 players were the anomaly. I haven't really seen many of the Opens having a really low winning score here, right? It's a tricky golf course, especially the stretch of 9, 10, 11, even 12, 13, 14 now with the other tee, and I guess 15 can get quite difficult. All of them playing almost in of the left. That's a difficult part of the golf course. So you need to do everything well, but I think obviously having control over the spin and trajectory of your ball is almost the most important part.
How much do you look back at the other 2 majors this year? Do you just let those go and say it's golf, or is there anything you can learn from it?
Oh, there's always things you can learn from it. It's almost a bit what I said earlier, answering to a question. I perhaps had too many thoughts on my swing, where I wasn't just letting it go and flowing on the golf course the way I would have liked to flow. And probably why I didn't perform the way I would have liked to perform. Friday at Augusta as well, right? When you're not feeling your best and you're playing an absolute hurricane of a day with firm greens, I was just trying to survive and almost hoping to make the cut. Valhalla was almost the realization that I needed to make a change, where I was making good swings and just ball wasn't doing what I was expecting it to do. And that's why I believe that might have been the last tournament I had my old driver shaft in. I changed it after that, and I've been more comfortable ever since. So I think that was a big change, right? Being able to swing at the driver more freely and without having to think about technique so much, I think has been quite nice.
Okay, one.
Dos cosas rápidas en español. Y como todos los españoles, tienes mucha experiencia jugando links. Has jugado en Escocia, en Irlanda como amateur. ¿Algún recuerdo especial que tengas de esa época joven viniendo aquí a jugar?
¿De personales o de otros o solamente míos?
Tuyos.
Míos. Yo creo que mi primer recuerdo, el mejor por lo menos, siempre va a ser la primera vuelta. El primer golpe que pegué en un links, que fue en Royal Ports con Aita, ¿no? Que fue el British Boys, que se jugó en St. George's, pero fuimos antes allí para jugar. Y en el hoyo una caza de viento a favor y tiene un río corto del green, pero lejísimos. Creo que lejos, 300 metros y tal. Saco drive, ¿no? Me dice Aita, coge otro palo, madera 3, no. Hierro 3, y la pego perfecta, baja, viento a favor, me bota en cuesta abajo y, cómo no, acaba no al lado del río, pero a 30 metros, ¿no? Me dice, primera lección, la bola rueda. En la rabea no rueda normalmente nada, ¿no? O sea, aquí puedes utilizar el suelo, puedes utilizar la calle, utiliza un poco los elementos que te da el campo en tu favor. Y ahí fue el primer ejemplo de lo que es el links, y a partir de ahí ya es cuando empecé a intentar divertirme un poco más con el suelo, con el vuelo de bola y todo, y acabé teniendo una buena actuación en ese British Boys siendo joven, jugué bien, y yo creo que va a ser siempre igual mi memoria o mi recuerdo más bonito de lo que es el links, ¿no? Ese primero yo con mi padre.
Okay, we'll bring things to a close there. John, thank you very much for your time and best of luck this week.
Thank you.